Before we pull back the curtain on this terrifying piece of film history, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You are part of a community dedicated to uncovering the grit, the bone breaks, and the unshuckable spirit behind the world's greatest martial arts legends. You won't want to miss our upcoming deep dives into the secret archives of the masters. Now, let's travel back to 1983 to a film set in Hong Kong, where the air was thick with smoke, sweat, and the looming shadow of a clock tower that nearly became a monument to a tragedy. The year was 1983. Jackie Chan was filming Project A, a movie that was intended to be his ultimate masterpiece. He wanted to combine the physical comedy of Buster Keaton with the high-stakes adrenaline of the Hong Kong martial arts scene. The centerpiece of the film was a stunt that made even his veteran stunt team tremble. A 60-foot fall from a clock tower through two thin cloth awnings, landing headfirst onto a thin, poorly padded mat on the hard pavement below. There were no wires. There were no digital safety nets. There was only Jackie, a clock tower, and gravity. For 7 days, Jackie stood at the top of that tower, looking down. For 7 days, he couldn't jump. The fear was real. Even for a man who had broken dozens of bones, the math of this fall didn't add up. One wrong gust of wind, 1 second of hesitation, and he wouldn't be going home. But on the 8th day, fueled by a mixture of frustration and a relentless sense of duty to his audience, Jackie climbed the tower one last time. The cameras rolled. The crew held their breath. Jackie let go. What the world saw in the final cut of the movie was a spectacular, breathtaking fall. But what happened on the second take is what remains locked away in the cursed archive. As Jackie fell, his body rotated mid-air in a way he hadn't anticipated. He tore through the first awning, but instead of slowing him down, it flipped him onto his back. He missed the center of the second awning entirely, hitting the wooden support beam with his shoulder before plummeting the final 20 feet directly onto his neck and upper spine. The sound wasn't a thud. It was a crack that seemed to vibrate through the pavement and into the bones of everyone standing on that set. As Jackie's body hit the ground, he didn't bounce. He didn't roll. He lay there, crumpled like a discarded marionette, his neck twisted at an angle that defied human anatomy. In that instant, a 10-minute deathly silence descended upon the set. 200 crew members, stuntmen, and extras stood frozen. No one moved. No one spoke. The director of photography stopped breathing. The only sound was the distant hum of Hong Kong traffic and the soft clicking of the camera that was still running, capturing the image of a fallen king. For those first few minutes, the stunt team, the legendary Jackie Chan stunt team, men who had seen every injury imaginable, were paralyzed. They didn't run to him. They were terrified that if they touched him, they would be the ones to confirm his death. Jackie lay motionless. His eyes were open, staring at the gray Hong Kong sky, but there was no spark in them. He was conscious, but his body had disconnected from his mind. He was experiencing the white void, a state of total neurological shock. Around the 5-minute mark, the silence turned into a low, frantic whispering. "Is he breathing? Don't touch his neck. Call the ambulance." But Jackie's lead stuntman, Mars, knelt beside him and whispered, "Jackie, can you hear me?" "Jackie, move a finger." Nothing. Jackie was trapped in a tomb of his own skin. He could hear the sobbing of the makeup artists. He could feel the coldness of the concrete, but he couldn't feel his legs. He couldn't feel his hands. In his mind, Jackie was already accepting the reality. This is it. I am the man who lived by the stunt, and I am the man who will spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. It was the most terrifying 10 minutes in the history of Golden Harvest Studios. It was the moment the funny guy died and a broken human being took his place. A crew began to prepare for the worst. They were already thinking about the headlines, about the end of an era, about how they would tell his family. Then, at the 9-minute mark, a miracle happened. A tiny, almost imperceptible twitch occurred in Jackie's left big toe. Then, a sharp, ragged gasp of air tore through his lungs. Jackie's body arched in a sudden, violent spasm as the nerves finally reconnected, sending a tidal wave of agonizing pain through his system. It wasn't the pain of a bruise. It was the pain of a nervous system rebooting after a total crash. Jackie didn't scream. He groaned a deep, guttural sound that signaled he was still in the land of the living. As the paramedics finally rushed in, Jackie did something that defined his entire existence. He grabbed Mar's hand, his grip weak but desperate. He didn't ask for a doctor. He didn't ask if he was paralyzed. He looked at the camera operator, his voice a raspy whisper. Did we get it? Was the angle good? The crew erupted into a mixture of laughter and hysterical tears. Even at the doorstep of permanent paralysis, Jackie Chan was the ultimate filmmaker. He had just spent 10 minutes in the shadow of death, and his only concern was the truth of the shot. The doctors later told him that he was millimeters away from a snapped spinal cord. He had suffered a severe concussion, a displaced cervical vertebra, and deep tissue trauma that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He was ordered to stay in bed for months. But this is Jackie Chan. 3 days later, wrapped in bandages and fueled by painkillers that would knock out a horse. He was back on that set, finishing the scene. That second take, the take where he lay broken and silent, is a piece of film that is rarely shown in its entirety. It is too raw. It lacks the fun of his usual outtakes. It is a reminder that the joy Jackie brings to millions is paid for in a currency of blood and near tragedy. It was the day the silence almost became permanent. When you watch Project A today, and you see that incredible fall, remember the 10 minutes that didn't make the cut. Remember the silence that gripped the heart of Hong Kong cinema. It was the moment Jackie Chan escaped the wheelchair, not through luck, but through a sheer, stubborn refusal to let the story end on the pavement. He didn't just survive a fall. He survived the death of his own body and rose again to become the legend we know today. Jackie often says that he still feels the chill of that concrete on certain rainy nights. He remembers the gray sky and the sound of the wind. But he also remembers the moment he realized he could move his toe. To him, that was the greatest stunt of his life, the act of coming back from the silence. His legacy is built on these hidden minutes. For every laugh he earns, there is a silent prayer he offered to the sky in 1983. He is the man who looked at the void, felt the coldness of the grave, and decided he had a few more movies to finish. And that, more than any kick or punch, is the true power of Jackie Chan. If you were moved by this journey into the darkest moment of Jackie Chan's career, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. Which of Jackie's stunts do you think was the most impossible? We're reading every comment, and your support helps us keep these archives alive. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we explore the night Jackie faced a legend in a rooftop battle you were never supposed to hear about. Stay brave, stay disciplined, and we'll see you in the next archive.